Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hey folks, welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast, your one-stop shop for all your WWE, AEW, and NXT recaps, reviews, pay-per-view predictions. It's Kyle over here. Joining us today, we got Vince in the house. What's going on, Vince?
Hey, how's it going, man? Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning.
Good
morning. Happy lunch break. Good evening, if that's when you're watching this, but we are shooting fairly early in the morning. Fairly early.
I like these episodes, though, Kyle. I feel like we get our best selves once we get our coffee in our system.
Yeah, absolutely. Assuming I haven't drank myself into oblivion the previous night, which I didn't, so we're going to be good. It's going to be a good episode. Oh, man. We're a pro wrestling podcast, folks. If you're your first time joining us, you can always listen to us on Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, and iTunes. Vince, you're coming off the back end of a long wrestling week, my friend.
Yes, I
am. We're about a week removed. Are you rejuvenated? Are you excited for wrestling again?
Okay, so yes and no, because I for SmackDown I didn't really have the energy to really try to go through it after a long work week, because I legit after the whole week of wrestling I jumped right into nonstop work again. And I didn't really get a chance to do SmackDown how I wanted to. And then Raw, I feel like I kind of pushed through it after work last night, given that we were doing the podcast in the morning. I thought it was a decent episode. It was solid. For the most part, I'm just looking forward for NXT. And AEW looks like it's going to have a solid card. So I'm rejuvenated in the sense that I'm looking forward to the future episodes coming down the week.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to AEW this week. I'm a little bummed. A lot of the viewership dropped. It looks like a lot of reports coming out on Twitter.
You're talking about being bummed, Kyle. I've been bummed on Twitter since I went to AEW because I knew I was missing a good episode of NXT. I saw the matches for NXT. I saw the matches for AEW. I was more hyped for NXT. Maybe that was the reason why, but being at the arena, the episode was decent. It wasn't the best episode. I feel like I didn't get my money's worth in it, just because I guess the people that I'm invested in weren't really highlighted. But this week's AEW Dynamite looks stacked. It's still in Illinois. It's a couple hours away. Maybe I'll go ahead and make the drive. We'll see what happens. But let's talk about some Raw, because it was
well, before we completely discredit you just ruined a great opportunity for a Twitter segue. All right. If you guys can follow us on Twitter at SmackDrawPod, myself at The Kaitai Show, and Vince, of course, can be found at SES Vince. Before you squandered a great opportunity, we're here to talk about Monday Night Raw, folks. Early reports. This was seemingly out of nowhere. Early reports saying that you could skip Raw. I've seen people say there might be a trash segment, but I've never really seen the wrestling journalist, quote unquote, saying that you could probably go ahead and just skip this entire 3-hour episode. It felt like a little. It felt. Did that report seem odd to you? Not reflecting on the episode, but leading into an actual show, people reporting to skip a live episode that was not pre-taped.
Oh, see, for me, it's how would you even know? It's even if on paper it sounds terrible, just give it a goddamn chance, Man, it was early in the day too. It was around maybe 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I was seeing tweets or reports saying that you could skip skip Raw. And I was first off, I'm not gonna skip it unless Twitter tells me to skip it, because I always listen to Twitter.
Yeah,
and
right.
Twitter was pretty iffy on the episode. Overall, I think it might have impacted my mood for the episode. Granted, I did have a shit sandwich of a day, and Raw wasn't the cherry that I needed on top, but it was decent. It was a nice pickle in my sandwich. It delivered on some good spots. It missed on some other ones, but overall, I didn't think it was a bad episode. It was just
it felt to me like it was a filler episode.
Yeah, that's perfect. The perfect way to put it. A filler episode. That's the best way to describe this episode.
Yeah, a lot of continuations of previous angles without really any build or added layers to them. I'm trying to think of anything that may have developed.
The opening segment was probably the most development we had.
I don't know, because that felt like a continuation of last week.
Okay.
I want to say maybe as far as development, we did. I guess we're getting a Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre feud. We didn't know that last week.
About.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's a really good opponent for Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Both of them, actually. Both of them. They seem to have very good chemistry together. It actually. I mean, granted, you know that all these wrestlers are bigger than how they appear on TV. But looking at Randy Orton standing next to Drew McIntyre, I'm like, damn, Randy Orton is a giant. Like I've always pictured like Randy Orton being maybe a little bit bigger than me. I'm 6'3", you know, but dude, Randy's got to be hitting 6'5", 6'6". Like, how tall is he, man? How tall do you think he is?
I don't know. Wikipedia would probably tell us, man.
That's already on it, bro. Already on it.
You're probably on the money with like that 6'4", 6'5". That's probably where he's at.
6'5", man. Dude, he is a
hit it right on the money,
human,
man.
Dude. Yeah.
McIntyre still felt like a slightly bigger individual than
Not
Randy,
by much, dude. You're talking a very, very
I'm talking about
margin.
Like body wise, he looked like he ate two Randy Ortons right before like he came out.
You'd think that if you see him in separate segments. But no, I bet you because of last week, that whole little back and forth they had in Randy Orton was like, you're just mad because I'm bigger than you and taller than you. How much you want to bet McIntyre right before he came out, man, hitting the push-ups? Maybe they have a bench back there, man, just getting a swell on as much as he can before he gets out on TV.
I know, man. No, McIntyre's all man, dude. Like Randy Orton, Randy Orton, he's by no means like a chump or anything, but like physique-wise, McIntyre. He's like chiseled out of stone.
Okay. Anyways, let's get into the show. Early on, we kick off with a brief backstage segment. We see a black SUV pull up. Charlie Caruso is out there. Apparently, she knows when people are arriving to the building. Out comes AOP. She asks them, why they attacked Kevin Owens. I was kind of upset she didn't ask, I guess they're trying to, play a little coy. But I wanted to be like, why'd you attack Kevin Owens but not Seth Rollins, the man that insulted you, But
Charlotte's just not doing her
due
job
diligence, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They both give their reply in, I want to say, Albanian and Punjabi. And she's like, I'm sorry, I don't speak those languages. Could you translate? And they're like, you look really nice tonight. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And then they walk off.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah, AOP, at least they're not... So far, they're trying to be as coy as they can, which kudos to WWE, because subtlety is not one of their strong points. Mm-hmm. So, but then we get onto the opening segment of the night, which I got to tell you, man, I have a 45-minute commute home from work. This segment started on my commute and did not wrap up until after I got in the house. This segment went on for almost an hour straight. Which is
out of here. It didn't feel that way.
Well, it's because it had its sections. So we started.
Wait. Oh, wait. So you're counting the whole?
I'm counting the in-ring stuff and then the match that preceded it all as the same segment.
I thought you were just talking about just the Owens, Rollins, AOP stuff.
No.
So that makes sense. That kind of took away the full first hour.
Yeah. So, I got a question for you. In your heart of hearts, you believe that another professional wrestler is deceiving you and has it out for you. You, a pro wrestler that can hold your own in the ring. Why not attack him? Why not take the first shot? Why not be preemptive? This is the only thing that kind of bugged me about it, because you had KO, or no, excuse me, you had Seth Rollins. So the whole build going into today's episode was Seth Rollins will issue his official apology for being a dingus on last week's show. Did you? Oh, by the way, last week when he told off the roster in that town hall meeting, did you see Rey Mysterio lip like "F you"? Except he actually said it.
No, I actually could. Well, see, here's the thing. Like, it's one thing to be at the venue and then try to rewatch on TV. It's like a complete hassle.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because you were live. That's right.
Yeah. So I was at the venue. So I was there when that was happening.
There's a clip online of when after Seth Rollins told off Rey, and Rey is walking already, like in the process of walking off. He looks at Seth Rollins and is like straight up "F you." Like right there, man. Read his lips and everything. Oh, it's wonderful. There's no audio, but you can clearly read lips when someone says that. Because they're either saying that or they're saying vacuum. Okay, and vacuum doesn't fit the context. Okay.
And unless he's really trying to sell a vacuum to Seth Rollins. You never know.
You suck, vacuum.
But see, answer your question, like, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if you're like a competent wrestler
you're
and you
doling
feel
out
like
stunners, man. You're doling out stunners. Stun him. He's right next to you. You know,
should have. Honestly, he should have. But at the same time, I feel like it's just one of those like standard like WWE stuff where, like, I think the last person to really go ahead and do stuff just to do it was Stone Cold. Like I can't remember the last person that would go out there and just like screw over another babyface without. Because
Becky Lynch.
You're correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Early into her catching fire, she'd just come out there and just punch you in the mouth and walk off. That was like one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, that was like that was peak Becky Lynch. So Becky Lynch and like Stone Cold, but two very similar characters, and two characters that Owen seems like that's where he should be going, especially since he's using the stunner. He's using this anti-authority establishment type of gimmick.
Kevin Owens is more voice of the crowd. Like, he's airing like the Twitter opinions, you know.
Which I love because when we got to the Lana segment, it was exactly how I was reacting throughout the entire episode.
Exactly, like the whole thing with Shane McMahon and now Lana, it really is just voice of the crowd. As far as being like in-ring badass, like taking the fight to everybody, I think that's something we want to project onto him, but that's not really what's going on. He's just hitting the mic and dropping the truth bombs on everybody,
which I appreciate. But it's something that we've seen with Owens, because if you saw his NXT run, even his early WWE run, that's who he was. He was out there just doing what just being a total badass and out there just dropping pop-up power bombs and power bombing people on the apron. He was doing that left and right.
So now he's kind of like the voice of the voiceless,
which I like. I like because he's gone away from like the little like whiny begging to like remove like the fine from Shane McMahon, because like they really messed him up on SmackDown, like because like they went one direction and then Kofi Mania happened and then they just didn't know what to do with him. So overall, I thought he was the star of this whole segment. I thought it was great where he's like, okay, if I feel like Seth, AOP, you guys are going to jump me. Like, there's 3 scenarios, and I see all of them ending with you guys just jumping me. So if this match is going to happen, let's just do it right now. I just didn't understand how Seth Rollins like, no, you're being unreasonable, Kevin. That's it. I'm out. You're on your own. Like,
it's because KO's telling the truth. It's because he's telling the truth. Seth Rollins is like, damn, he found me out. You know, like, and he's like, he didn't have a good out. So that's kind of like what any liar does when they're being confronted, but they have to stick to their lies. Like, well, if you don't believe me, then I'm just out of here. You're not worth talking to. That's
Seth Rollins' new character is a Twitter troll or something.
No, it's just the dude who can't handle the truth, man. He can't handle the truth. But yeah, so Seth Rollins leaves Kevin Owens to take on AOP by himself. But and as he walks out, you know, AOP, who just threatened to have a match with both of them, they don't attack Seth Rollins. All of this points to the trio. You know what I mean? Very, very, very obvious, but still enough room for doubt, I guess. You know? Maybe?
Okay, so a question I have for you, Kyle, is even though it seems obvious, would you rather have obvious but good, or would you rather have like swerve but it makes no sense?
No, I say stick with it. I'm excited for AOP and Seth Rollins because we'll get a heel Seth Rollins, who's arguably he works better as a heel than a face, and Seth Rollins will elevate AOP. I think what you do is you rejuvenate Seth Rollins' star power, and you also elevate a premier tag team that hasn't really had any time to shine on the main roster. I mean, quick note: are you even aware that AOP are former Raw Tag Team Champions? See, yes, they are. They're former Raw Tag Team Champions, bro.
Since when?
Yeah, man. Jesus, I'm really hope I'm right because I remember hearing this.
Oh, they're former NXT Tag Champions. I know that for a fact.
Right.
Raw Tag Team Champions. I don't think they ever.
They beat Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins teamed up with Dean Ambrose, and Ambrose turned on him and left him there by himself. He had to take on AOP in a handicap match, and AOP got the belts off him. That's what I'm saying. That's how misused AOP has been. You can't even remember when they were champs.
Wow, I legit
told you.
You're blowing my mind. Wow,
that was my point exactly. You know what I mean? So that's why I would rather go ahead and have this heel faction, this heel trio. Just don't play it up like Shield 2.0. I know that's what the internet's gonna turn it into, but
a lot of people have been making them like, oh, is this Seth Rollins authority with J&J Security 2.0? And I'm like, no,
yo,
like don't disrespect AOP. Like I love me some Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury, but
this has the opportunity to be the most destructive force that you've seen in a long time. But anyways, so AOP decide they're not going to fight Kevin Owens, so this transitions to the next segment. With Kevin Owens still in the ring, we got Lana coming out, and Kevin Owens tries to shut it down. And I wish he was able to. The fact that Lana was able to talk over him, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? We don't have to sit here and critique this. You got Lana spitting her BS. Kevin Owens comes out, calls it BS. Oh, by the way, earlier in the segment, Kevin Owens did drop a BS bomb, like uncensored.
Yeah, because he was calling out Seth on BS because he was apologizing.
Damn, we kind of really no-sold that part of the segment. Oh well.
No, it was good. I mean, Rob sold it for both of us on Twitter pretty well.
Yeah. So. But yeah, man, Kevin Owens, he says what everyone's thinking, man. And he's like, we don't care. And it really just became a shouting match between Kevin Owens insulting Lana, being either very smart with her or just plainly saying we don't care, and then Lana trying to power through Kevin Owens. And kudos to her, because Kevin Owens is a hell of a talker, and to hold your own on the mic and not get flustered when he's going full in on you. I mean,
she messed up a little bit, but that's to be expected. I mean, she's nowhere near like a mic person as like KO is, but you know, she didn't like fumble and like ended up in the deer in the headlights type of situation.
Exactly.
Kudos to her.
Yeah.
I would be okay if I never had to hear her on the promo, like with this whole iteration of her right now. I don't want to see any of this whole thing because so this was 45 minutes of like linear stuff that still made no sense to me. Like Bobby Lashley came out, like that's what this led to, was like Kevin Owens wanted to fight, Bobby Lashley comes out, that's the match right there. And I don't remember when it happened. I must have looked down, but they have security around the ring. They have their own personal security.
Well, just 2 bodyguards. Lana said that she had pulled another restraining order because restraining orders aren't nationwide. They're I think county to county.
They are.
So she got another restraining order on Rusev, and also hired 2 detectives as bodyguards. One detective, very old gentleman. Another detective, obviously a guy in developmental. And he was the one that got all the character work. But yeah, so they're standing out there. Kevin Owens and Bobby Lashley have their match. Bobby is definitely getting the better of Kevin for the majority of it, but it doesn't reach a conclusion. AOP finally do come out. They jump KO. They literally drag him off to the bag, and then leaving Lana and Bobby Lashley by themselves in the ring. We have Rusev emerge from the crowd. I want to critique this a little bit without sounding overcritical. Little too goofy Rusev. I want more gritty, Stone Cold getting hauled off in handcuffs Rusev. I want like pure primal rage. This was like very taunty. I don't know. It was a little silly, but he beat the piss out of Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
And Rusev's silliness was completely outdone by the silliness of the freaking bodyguards. Because they no-sold the whole thing. Like, it was almost like a heel turn. Like, they turned on Lana. Because
Yeah,
they
exactly.
just literally... They're paid law enforcement officers to enforce the law. Which there's a restraining order. And they literally just watch Rusev beat down Lashley, feet away from Lana. And they give the most piss-poor, like... There's no sense of urgency. There's the complete opposite. There's like a sense of disdain in them that they have to get in the ring and be involved in this. And Rusev takes off. I mean, they don't even get close to Rusev. Like, they just walk gingerly up the stairs. By the time their feet hit the ramp, Rusev's already at the top of the damn arena, out the building, man. And
Do you think they're just really big Orange Cassidy fans?
I'm telling you, that was awesome. Very, very good, because that's the best way to describe them. That was the best way, man. And Lana, understandably, this part made sense of her character. I was like, what the hell, you guys? You know? What one of them say? Because Caruso was there. She kept getting the mic in between them all. And they were like... we're longtime WWE fans, Lana, and we do things different here in Nashville, which I didn't understand. I guess that just means they just let feuds play out or something. I don't know.
I don't know what that meant. That was very like. It wasn't a good explanation as to why these paid.
This was a mess. It was a mess, man. It was funny, but it was a mess.
So I didn't see exactly what he did, or if he even did anything. Why I saw why Lana got arrested, because she slapped the one guy.
Lashley shoulder bumped the detective.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you know how like in high school, you got that one tough kid walking through the hallway and he doesn't move for anybody. He just hits you with his shoulder and you get kicked back. That's what Lashley did. And then
that's not enough to warrant an arrest.
It's assault, bro. Come on, man. In the United States, come on, dude. That's assault on a police officer. You going to prison? Like, oh man. It's sad here.
Where does the storyline? How does this storyline end?
So that's what I wanted to get to. That's what I wanted to get to. My question was, out of all of this, the storyline ends with Rusev humiliating Lashley and Lana and somehow having some semblance of retribution. How does Lana bounce back from this? I get how Rusev does, and Rusev bounces back by giving him another like 3 to 4 weeks of just outfooling Lana and Lashley, making them jokes. You know what I mean? Just completely making them jokes.
I think I think this ends at TLC next Sunday.
It does. So Rusev has the upper hand from here on out, all the way to conclusion. No, we got enough of Lashley and Lana getting over on Rusev. Rusev should not be the one. Rusev should always be standing tall 100% of the time here on out. And he'll be okay. You'll get Rusev Day back. He'll get away from both Lana and Lashley. And hopefully he'll have this new edge to himself.
I hope that not only that, but I hope that Lana and Lashley move away from each other, because man, like
it's really just get away from Lana. Like that's what it is.
So here's the thing, Lana, when she's like, there's not so right now I feel like there's too much.
It's too late.
We're oversaturated with Lana. I think that's the issue, because like in small bursts, just like with Selena Vega, even though Selena Vega is an amazing wrestler and I wish they let her wrestle, but Lana isn't a phenomenal wrestler. So if she just stays to that Selena Vega role, I feel like that'd be perfect. That'd be beautiful. She can even do like a Bobby Heenan thing where she has multiple people she's managing, or she leaves Rusev and she finds someone else to manage. That's fine. That's perfect. It's just like she's too much on screen for my liking. And it's like she's adding anything to the product.
She's blonde.
That's what it is, man. That's
you got
what it
Vince
is.
and Dunn. Yeah, that's really
basic.
it. How about this? Is there a way to sell? Because in my opinion, Lana is the one left unsalvageable. Rusev can bounce back. Bobby Lashley could bounce back. Is there a way to salvage Lana's character? Because Lana works best next to Rusev, but you'd have to think the level of betrayal here, kayfabe wise and in real life wise, they could never work this out beyond this point. You know what I mean? Or could you have, 6 months go by, Rusev in a feud completely away from all of this, and he's getting his ass beat, and then you have that Randy Savage, Miss Elizabeth.
I was about to say Randy Savage, Miss Elizabeth moment.
Yeah, and where they reunite.
Maybe that happens at Mania. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Man.
But
that's
we're
a tough
looking
one.
too far ahead.
But that's my biggest. I mean, that's just all I can think about from this is like, how does this benefit anybody? Like, where does this go?
The only thing that it's done, it's that it's gotten people behind Rusev, but not because like, this is like we're rooting for him to succeed in this angle. It's more of a, dude, he's such a good wrestler. He's so much better than this angle. Maybe if we just root for him, like the Rusev Day chants are like, we don't. So Sebastian keeps making the point online saying that, the minute they come out, the Rusev Day chants start immediately. The YouTube numbers say that people are watching this. It's like he doesn't like it, but others apparently do. And I'm like, Sebastian, that's not the thing. Honestly, this is not the way to do it. There's so many better ways to do it. Yes, the Rusev Day chants are back, but that's literally they were chanting Rusev Day when he came back, when he was supposedly the father of Maria Kanellis' baby. So Jesus. I don't know. So here, the thing is that we realize that Rusev is a great wrestler, and the fans get behind a wrestler. And when you're in a shitty storyline, and you're a wrestler that people support, they're gonna try to get behind you and
get you out of this, get you through this damn thing.
I feel like the fans are more trying to okay, if we just chant for Rusev, can we end this? Because we want to see Rusev actually do stuff. And here's the thing, I like Lashley too. At first, I thought the segments were good because it was showing a little bit of Lashley's character, but now they jumped the shark. They've done the whole thing, and I'm kind of over it. I want Lashley to be a serious competitor and still show off some of his character, but yeah. I don't know. Let's just move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. No. Yeah, we've definitely covered a half hour of. Because the intro took up a bit, but about 20 minutes on this, which is nice because the segment was almost an hour long. It did go backstage. Lana and Lashley got hauled off in a cruiser. They're arrested. We don't see them for the rest of the night, thank God. Next up, we got a match between Drew McIntyre and Tozawa.
Poor Tozawa, man. I feel like they just...
Poor Tozawa. Oh, God.
I feel like they just, okay, Sin Cara is, decided he wants to leave. Who can we fill in that role that can put on a good match, but can also be a believable opponent that could be destroyed by someone? Oh, we have Tozawa now. He was a cruiserweight. Let's do that. Which I hate. I really, really hate.
Is it really just we need McIntyre to beat up a cruiserweight who's available? Before we further his feud, he needs to come out here and just get a dominant win, just so we could get another feud going. But
It legit felt like, hey, let's beat up the cruiserweights tonight. Yeah. That's the vibe I got from things. But overall, it's you look at it in this night and day. Tozawa just had a cruiserweight title match against Leo Rush, and it was the best match on NXT.
Yeah,
me and Jay recapped NXT. I'm like, that was the best match. And then even here, even though he was mostly destroyed by McIntyre, easy win by McIntyre, but even Tozawa still showed a little glimpse of what makes him a great wrestler. I just feel like certain people should just stay on NXT or 205 because I don't want them to just be enhanced talent.
Exactly. Yeah, you just turn into like enhancement talent. It even begs the question, like, why bring in local enhancement talent if you're just gonna do this to like your own people? Like, make it one or the other. You know what I mean?
My another point is like you have Heath Slater on the roster. You have guys like Bo Dallas. Like use them.
Beat
like,
them up. Beat them up. Leave
them
Tozawa alone. Like, we like Tozawa. Yeah, at least make it a heel that people boo. You know what I mean? It's okay. Like, you know, but hey, I mean, we're getting really too like fantasy booky here.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, it was basically a dominant win by McIntyre. Not too much fight from Tozawa's end, but the real like emphasis here was the promo after the match.
Yeah, we're setting up a feud with Randy Orton, which I, for one, am all for. I wish actually I had thought about that. I'd put the soundbite of Drew McIntyre just destroying Orton's chest with those chops last week. Wait, you were there live, right?
Yeah.
How was that hearing that live, man? Especially that second one.
So the chops were pretty loud, and then all that just stuck with me was basically just Randy Orton reacting to it. It was more of it wasn't supposed to be comedic, but for me it just came out.
Oh no, it was
funny.
Definitely comedic. Have you seen the clip from it? Like,
yeah, because they showed because McIntyre even replayed why he's calling out Randy Orton, what his beef with Randy Orton was like the eye poker gets like really pissed off McIntyre because he just kind of does what he wants and doesn't take him seriously, and I guess that's what that was the gist of his whole promo.
Is like, Randy Orton does what he wants and doesn't take anything seriously.
Yeah, and especially him and there were times where like, which is what I love about McIntyre, he's done this before, where like the wrestler that he's cutting the promo on isn't looking at him. He's like, "You look at me when I'm talking to you," and then gets that person's attention. He has so much intensity. Like legit, this guy is a world champion.
I said it. The second he returned, man. The second he returned, it was kind of like how I treat Keith Lee. I'm like, dude, put a world title on him now. Like, just put a world title on him and let him build as a star. Like, from there, give your product some new flavor, because he is everything about him is world champion. Like, what does he have to develop to be world champion?
He has a great look. He has a great moveset. He has an amazing finisher that legit can hit on anyone. He's great on the mic. Like, he just oozes charisma.
Holes are in this dude's game? Like, nothing.
Then on top of that,
holes.
He's a consummate professional. And you can tell this guy is out there to like steer the team in the right direction. He's the type of guy you can send to a Good Morning America, and he would put on like a great like showcase for WWE.
He's a dapper fella. You know that dude cleans up, man.
Yes. We should have McIntyre beat Lesnar for the title, have Keith Lee win the Royal Rumble. We have Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title at WrestleMania.
Ultimate face and ultimate heel. Because they would play their roles so well. Oh man, book it now.
Yeah. But for now, we have Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. I'm ready for that. I'm geeked for that.
No, that's good. I mean, this is easily Drew McIntyre. Will be Drew McIntyre's best feud since coming up on the Raw. Before Randy Orton, because Randy Orton at this point is out in the ring, like you were stating, before they can come to blows, you have OC come out. They blame Randy Orton for AJ losing his title. Did I miss something?
He interfered in the title match because
that's feud, right. Yeah, that's right.
Feud with McIntyre, and this is all played together because Randy was about to beat McIntyre to win the number one contenders Fatal 4-Way match, but the OC pulled them out and like attacked them, and then that allowed Ray to
get over on Ricochet.
So then to get the like, you know, just pay back AJ and the OC, he came back and actually cost AJ the match. It actually hit an RKO to AJ, and then Ray hit the West Coast Pop or whatever, and that's how Ray won the title. So that's why they're blaming Randy. And what I like is because they set up two different feuds. So it looks like Randy Orton has beef with the OC and with Drew McIntyre, and they can go in multiple directions.
In case they get cold feet on McIntyre again. But yeah, so they everyone beats down Randy Orton. Ricochet is first to emerge to come out to assist Randy Orton, followed by Carrillo, who's got new music all of a sudden.
I hate it. I love this old theme song, man. What's wrong with his old theme song?
I don't know, man. They
so
needed
good.
they needed something to sound even more on the nose that he was Latino.
His theme song it was on iTunes and Spotify because it was a legit actual artist made that a song for him, and I don't know if for him or if he just used it for him.
Maybe it's the reports that Vince is done with his Humberto Carrillo toy, and now he doesn't want him to stand out no more. Make him bland baby face.
When I heard those reports, I was livid. Like I don't know if you saw my tweet about it. I was so mad because he gave up on Cedric. He's given up on Ricochet. Yeah. He gives up on stuff so quickly. Like, put him on NXT. Like, let him pair up with his cousin Angel Garza because Angel Garza is killing it over there. Jeez.
No, I know. It is what it is.
Yeah, so Humberto comes out, and then finally Ray comes out. Even up the odds.
Yeah, they fend them off. Backstage, we look like we have one of the funniest factions being formed with Randy Orton. I'm trying not to sound degrading to Carrillo and Ray and Ricochet, but it really does seem like. Okay, the dynamic that Jurassic Express have over on AEW. You have the big dude leading his smaller guys. You know, I want that to be this, like Randy Orton leading this trio of small fellas.
It feels like Jurassic Express mixed together with the Best Friends in Orange Cassidy, all rolled up into like one collective unit.
And then combined with what was that short-lived stable where you had Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase Jr., and Cody Rhodes. Legacy, yeah. Just all of that, and that's what you get here, man.
I mean, for a while, Randy Orton was been kind of petitioning for Ricochet to be a tag team with him for a minute, and then obviously Ray and Ricochet have history, and Humberto and Ray, they have the Latino Mexican connection, so they obviously have a good chemistry going there.
Yeah, I mean, it would be such a funny dynamic of.
Kind of wish that was the Survivor Series team. They had classic Survivor Series team matches. It kind of just feud versus feud and not brand supremacy, because I would have loved to see those four team up together in the Survivor Series.
You have Randy have disdain for these three guys. I don't need their help. I don't really want to be around these guys, but they stick up for him every time he gets beat down, and then ultimately a month or so in, he finally shows compassion because Ricochet is getting beat down and Randy Orton puts his body on the line or something.
I mean, not to bring in my nerd talk because I feel like I do this all the time, but this feels like Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, where he just kind of slowly accepts everyone around him. Well, they keep coming to help me. I don't like them, but they're not bad. That's kind of how it feels like. So,
it'd be so funny.
I love it.
Ultimately, though, we're not gonna get that. What I would like. At some point, man, just at some point as a good callback, well after Ricochet is buddy with Randy Orton, out of nowhere Ricochet hits his finisher on Randy, out of nowhere. What's the recoil? Just recoil out of nowhere, and they do a callback to the advice Randy Orton gave Ricochet, I do what I want, when I want, to who I want, and then Ricochet takes that advice and moves forward. I want to see that, man, because you can't trust Randy. He's gonna RKO these kids. At some point, man, he's just gonna RKO these kids. So because he's like Vegeta, and just I don't need friends. Oh, this is stupid.
Someone who doesn't really have friends is Aleister Black.
Aleister Black.
He's not really making friends.
No, man. He takes on another 205 Liver, the premier athlete, Tony Nese.
Which is surprising because Tony Nese isn't even on the Raw roster. He's technically still 205 Live. He wasn't drafted anywhere. So was surprised to see him.
205 Live, unless it's announced they're above brand. They're the closest thing to the wild card rule. They can kind of just go wherever.
Okay, so
they're free agents. Yeah.
Okay, cruiserweights can go wherever they want.
Wherever a squash match is needed.
Just terrible. Just keep Angel Garza and Leo Rush and Umberto away from those squash
Yeah,
matches.
you're gonna hear more and more people come out like Tommaso Ciampa. Like, if you take me to Raw or SmackDown, I am retiring. I am not going there. Don't make.
Oh, we can have a whole podcast about that whole like podcast that he was on, like, because I really want to dive into that, like the whole like dynamic of that. But
Yeah,
I mean, given what happened with Tony Nese, I wouldn't want to be on Raw either if I was Tony Nese, because again, it was another match, just like the McIntyre match. It was a second match that we got where it was just a showcase for Aleister Black. He ended up winning with the Black Mass. Again, I loved it. The one thing up until this point, I was trying to ignore, but it got to this point, I just got annoyed with Jerry Lawler's commentary. Like, I tried to ignore him as much as I can, but
yeah,
once I got to this point, like, he was in my ears ringing.
yeah,
just,
man. I get. Look, man, I'm from the Attitude Era. Okay, like I've watched the Attitude Era, you know, and I'm not biased WWE, AEW. Honestly, I really think that both JR and Jerry Lawler need to step down, man. All they're doing is tarnishing their legacy. And you can make an argument of like who's better than who, but it's like arguing, you know, would you rather get punched in the groin or kicked in the groin? You know, it still sucks either way. Either one you pick, man, it's gonna suck.
I mean, or do you have brass knucks on the fist when you're punching, and do you have cleats when you're kicking? Because, you know, variables.
Man, but it's, yeah, dude. Like, I can deal with Cole, but it's excuse me, King. You're right, man. King is too much. I just get a refresh and stick with it, man. Let people develop. Stop having this umbrella over these other guys and overshadowing them. It looks like Dio's out. You know what I mean? It looks like Dio's gone.
Yeah, it looks like he's out. Which sucks, because he legit had great chemistry with Vic Joseph and Aiden English on 205 Live.
Yeah.
But Samoa Joe, I gotta say, he is hitting it out of the park. Guess what? He's a play-by-play guy. He's a color commentator. He's actually doing his job. He's actually telling you why a certain wrestler is doing what he's doing, why the strategy would be this. He's great. He's great at his job, and he was the heel commentator, and he stuck with the heel like dynamic throughout the entire show. It was Jerry Lawler that kept jumping back and forth as to whether he was going to support the heels or not, because it felt like he was behind. Like AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, but he was totally against Kabuki Warriors or like Tony Nese, or like he would always talk down to, like, I don't know, I just don't like it. Like, it goes to like that one thing where Ric Flair, I think, once said that, like, if you talk down your opponent, like if you beat them, you didn't really beat anybody, but if they beat you, you got beat by nobody. So you got to talk up your opponent. So even if you're a heel commentator, talk up the other guys. So, like, he mentioned something about Ricochet. He's like, look at this guy. I see him and superheroes. Like, the last thing I think about him. I'm like, dude, just like, I mean, I don't really like Ricochet. I think he's too good two shoes, but he's a great athlete. You know, stuff like that. You know?
I think with Jerry Lawler is he's supposed to be that heel commentator, but he just doesn't fit the role anymore.
I don't think we need a heel commentator like that. Because,
well, I mean, Corey Graves does an all right job at it, you know. But yeah, you still have to be building people up, not taking the piss out of them, because that's really what it seems is like. The performers in the ring are trying to get over and develop and become bigger stars, but then you have Jerry Lawler cutting them off at the knees a lot of the times with a lot of the stuff he says, and it's such a confusing message to convey to the audience. And then not to mention the writing and the jokes themselves, they don't hit. I can't remember the last time that I laughed at a Jerry Lawler joke, and I'm not saying that I speak for everybody, because humor is subjective. I would just like to think that I have a more sensible sense of humor, or more common sense of humor, excuse me, where I think I would laugh at a lot of jokes that the majority of people, I think, would laugh at, you know.
And here's the thing, I don't think it's even that. I think he's just not hitting it out of the park with anybody, because even Rob, like, he has this he has his own stuff that he finds funny that I may not find comedic.
Right.
But even he says, man, he's just terrible. Get him off the commentary. When Rob is shitting on you, that's how you know.
Yeah.
That's how you know. If you're a heel and he's shitting on you, that's how you know you're not doing
It's
your
time
job.
to go, son.
Time
I
to
mean,
go.
I heard that he doesn't like being on commentary no more. But then again, I also heard he just re-signed. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't like Jerry Lawler on any kind of like medium WWE. Just like keep
Dude,
him
just put him on a
now-
kickoff. I don't care. Put him on a kickoff and have him like
No,
bug
don't do
Renee
that,
and.
I don't want him anywhere near anywhere.
I'm just saying
I
if
want
you
him on
had
his
if you
couch.
had to put him
No.
on TV, if you had to put him on TV,
No, just let him sit in his couch. Let him enjoy his life.
man, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. And they give him segments. They give him King's Court. Like, really?
Nobody wants that.
2019, we're less than a month away from 2020, and we got Jerry the King Lawler leading in-ring segments. Like, come on, man. But anyways, going back to the Tony Nese getting beat with the black mass backstage. Buddy Murphy. So the feud is Black and Murphy. Murphy gives a little bit more insight why he's feuding with Aleister Black, and he says it's he takes himself too seriously, which bam, right there, motivation. I like it. He rubs Murphy the wrong way because he takes himself too seriously. I get it. Good. Now let these guys have an insanely good match at TLC.
Oh, we'll see.
For some reason, we have Andrade out there. He defeats Eric Young with a hammerlock DDT. Really nothing to go over here other than I feel bad for Eric Young. All I could think about was like, dude, this dude is former TNA champion, former leader of Sanity. This is...
And then it was like the biggest missed opportunity
Yeah.
within the last couple of years. Like even Nikki Cross has completely gone away from what
Yeah.
made her really cool in NXT. And she's just kind of like blended it with everybody else. But after the match, the freaking R-Truth comes out and he's running around
that's
with,
all
like,
this was
the
a
20%.
backdrop for R-Truth. That's really all this match was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, like I was saying, like it was just R-Truth like doing the whole like the whole like skit where like everybody's trying to like chase after him for the title. He hides behind the two NASCAR guys, and then
Kyle
everybody
Busch
runs.
and Michael Waltrip, for those of you. Just,
I don't think
Or-
there's too many NASCAR fans.
Hey,
out
look,
here.
man. I'm just saying, you got to represent. Okay, do your due diligence.
Yeah, and it was all right, I guess, because I don't know who was the guy that actually picked up the win, but like,
Yeah. So Waltrip revealed himself to be a referee. Waltrip, by the way, I'm not a huge NASCAR fan, but Waltrip has a really funny personality. I've seen him like on other sports shows, and my stepfather is a former race car driver, so I know a little bit about NASCAR, even though I don't follow it. Waltrip has a really fun personality. Like, he is a fun guy to talk to. But yeah, Waltrip reveals himself to be a ref, and Truth gets rolled up by Kyle Busch. And yeah, so... and then the two guys, they make off up the ring. Hey, it's better than the Fox executives. It was Fox executives that pinned Truth, right? Or was it USA execs?
no,
It was a
Fox
corporate. No, it was corporate. Oh, no. There was a Fox commentator that got picked up a win, and then there was actually just a WWE corporate guy that picked up a title.
I'm waiting for the Fox. I'm waiting for the Fox robot to
The Fox robot. Well, Truth is exclusive to Raw, so we're going to be waiting a while.
WrestleMania. That's a big payoff.
There you go. That's when that belt will travel brands. Is
The thing, I kind of want to know what the payoff is with this whole Eric Rowe and like mystery item that he.
I found it out last night. I know what it is, bro. I know what it is in there.
What is it?
It's an
How'd you find it? How'd you find it out? And two, what is it?
I found it out because I was like, dude, just what makes the most sense? So he talks to the entity like it's a baby or like a child, okay? He treats it like he's a father figure, and it's obviously very small, okay? You know what it is? You know what it is? It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone. He's FaceTiming his kid. That's all it is, man. He's just FaceTiming his child.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were really going somewhere with it.
No, man, he's just FaceTiming his kid, man. That's all it is. He's just FaceTiming his kid. It makes total sense. He's not some monster. His iPhone's very valuable, so he brings it out in a carrier so no one will see it, and he has it covered because it has personal information that he doesn't need revealed. but he brings his kid to ringside so his kid can watch him wrestle. Because he probably doesn't get paid that much, so they probably don't have cable, but they afford iPhones, so it's an iPhone, man. He's just FaceTiming his children.
Anyway, Eric Rowan squad, and one of the conga line guys tried to look into the burlap sack thingy, got destroyed because of it. Easy win for Rowan.
Yeah,
and I don't remember what her name is, but it's like the blonde interview chick, and she tried to ask Rowan, "What's in the sack? What's in the cage?" He would ignore her, and he's like, she's insisting 3 times. After the first time, I'm sorry, Eric Rowan, you out here destroying
that's
everyone?
not somebody you push.
Come on. But anyway, after that, I think they were, unless I completely missed something, they were setting up Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte Flair in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Which, why was this set up? Why are there tag team champions?
I bet it was supposed to be a tag team match, but Becky Lynch is like, dude, get me out of this tag team division. I'm a Raw Women's Champion. And they probably were just like, okay, fine. Well, you were scheduled in a match, so we're just gonna have Flair take him on in a handicap match. But we already set up how long the match is supposed to take. So now Charlotte Flair totally makes our women's tag team champions look weak as hell, because Flair held her own against them for what felt like almost 20 minutes in a handicap match.
And that was my one thing about this whole match, because here's the thing. It was a really good match, but I hated that one woman could stand up to two former women's champions. Asuka went toe-to-toe with Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me that Asuka and Kairi Sane isn't enough to overwhelm
Becky Lynch.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
Exactly. Kairi Sane beat Becky Lynch.
This should have been over 5 minutes tops. 5 minutes tops.
They even commentary mentioned that they've beaten Charlotte Flair with a partner. Why wouldn't they be able to beat? I think it was Samoa Joe that said this. It's they beat Charlotte Flair before with a partner twice, I think, actually. And why wouldn't they be able to beat Charlotte by herself? The finish of the match was amazing though, because Charlotte does have Asuka in the figure 8, and then Kairi got one of those blind tags.
Do you notice that it wasn't locked in?
Is it not?
No, I mean, she was technically in the figure 8, but the leg that's not between the legs that's supposed to be hooking the foot.
Yeah.
She went into it loose, and by the time she started to bridge, it was completely separate. Asuka, all Asuka had to do was literally just move her feet. She wasn't locked into nothing. It wasn't.
I think that was more Charlotte just being I don't want to risk maybe hurting her.
Maybe
if
maybe
if this goes south, because
the figure 4 is actually like a legit knee bar. If the figure 4 was done properly, and you really wanted to hurt someone, it inverts the pressure on your knee. That's a legit. Now, people in MMA, they don't do that. They use their hips like an arm bar. But it applies the same pressure that the classic knee bar puts on. So yeah, you're actually, you're probably right. That is a dangerous spot to have someone's body weight come down while you have their knee in a very vulnerable position. So maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe that was Charlotte just being smart and trying to avoid risk of injury.
Yeah, because what I noticed in that Captain's Triple Threat match in the Go Home show on SmackDown, where it was Rhea Ripley, Sasha, and Charlotte, where Charlotte has the figure 8 locked in on Sasha, and then Rhea comes in for the sneaky cradle pin. You can kind of see Sasha hitting Charlotte to let her go, saying you're legit hurting me at this point. And then once she got pinned, she let go, but that didn't look like Sasha was tapping. That legit looked like Sasha's dude, let go of my legs, you're hurting me. And I think that maybe she picked up on that and decided, I gotta be more careful, because Charlotte for the most part is pretty careful, and she's really good in the ring. She's not out there gonna hurt anyone. But overall, like I said, good match. I liked the ending. I thought it was a really good ending. I just didn't like that she looked too strong.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I think most people picked up on that too. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully, we'll forget this by next week, and the Kabuki Warriors will go out and destroy someone, or maybe destroy Charlotte. I don't know, but yeah, we don't need more of that.
One final thing that I want to add before we move on this is they finally debuted their new theme song, and they're not like just meshing the theme songs back and forth,
Damn it,
which I love.
Wasn't paying attention. Oh crap.
It was actually kind of good. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like the best thing, but it's better than just like switching between the two theme songs.
Right.
Go back and watch. Yeah, just go back and watch. You'll probably be able to find it on Twitter. Just go ahead and just look it up.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, what you might be able to find on Twitter too is the Viking Raiders match, because it was pretty quick, man. You could
probably get the whole match within a GIF.
within the GIF. It was another squash match for the Viking Raiders. I
Defeating
thought we were past this.
Mark Sterling and Mitchell Lyons. Yeah, it's so stop and go with these guys. Didn't they just have a slam bang match? Like, who did they face last week? Because I want to say they closed the show last week.
They had a tag match with. They were in the triple threat tag match with Undisputed Era and New Day.
I know, man. I know. And then we're here squash match.
It was
again.
a great match.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they need to pad up their run though. I think they're just trying to pad their run up. And
I think what was okay. So this is just speculating on my part. I have no basis here, and I'm not gonna sit here and pull a Meltzer and say, "Oh yeah, this is what this is what's happening." So my opinion is that they were gonna go AOP Viking Raiders, but they pivoted to doing AOP with heel Seth Rollins because they weren't initially gonna do a heel Seth Rollins. So they decided, let's pair up AOP and Seth Rollins. We got to figure out what we're gonna do with Viking Raiders. Just put them in another squash match for right now.
Wow.
We need another week to figure this out.
Yeah. They debuted a new thing though. So one thing I did notice, they added to their characters, and I assume they hit it too much for it just to be part of this match. Both Eric and Ivar throughout the match would scream to the crowd, "Are you watching?" And now I don't. So I'm wondering if they're just debuting a new catchphrase. Yeah, I'm watching a GIF right now, and yeah, Eric is just livid, screaming, "Are you watching?" And then same thing with Ivar. So it wasn't like a character thing for just one of them. That's both of them.
Unless that's them talking to the rest of the tag team division, "Are you watching what we're doing?"
No, and yeah. I didn't mean like to the audience. Like I just meant like they're screaming it out to the audience. But no.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like that was WWE trying to push
maybe
like a saying.
Maybe
or catchphrase
maybe Vince dropped some cold shit backstage or something. Was like, no one's watching the Viking Raiders, and they heard that, and so they're throwing it back in Vince's face. I don't know. But it definitely seems like that's going to be part of their character, and it's probably what you said. They're probably going to be asking the tag division, like, "Are you watching?" and see who steps up. Right now, man, the Viking Raiders, besides the squash match, let me just say this: these guys are probably my favorite, if not, no, they're my favorite tag team right now in all of WWE, all brands, NXT, SmackDown.
What about Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic, the new tag team on the block?
That is going to be. Listen, man, it's like when you found yourself a good girl that you know that you can be there for the long haul with. You might see some hot side pieces that are going to be good for a couple weeks, but that's going to fizzle out, and that ain't going to be no long-term stuff. This is
you're looking for a wifey material.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The Raiders are my wife material of tag teams right now. These guys are nuts, man. Like, oh god, I love it, man. I love their style.
You wouldn't put the OC in there? You don't think they're wifey material?
No, just because of how they've been used. Unfortunately, they could have been.
Okay.
It was like that all-star athlete in high school, man, who had all the potential but then turned to drugs, and now they're just like a shell of who they could have been.
Oh my gosh.
I can think of analogies for so many tag teams. Come on, give me another one.
How about Humberto Carrillo, Ricochet, and Rey Mysterio?
That was the team that the Amazon guy dropped off on your front doorstep while you were on vacation, and it's just got rained on all week. And now that you're here, you're like, ooh, this ain't good. It probably was good. All right, I'm done. Don't worry.
Actually, the way I would have compared them is kind of like when you buy a mystery box from like Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, you bought a wrestle crate.
You bought like a wrestle crate. You get like a bunch of different mixed items. Ooh, a Rey Mysterio
that have
figure.
nothing to do with each other.
Ooh, a Ricochet like laser beam or something. They have nothing to do with each other.
Just a laser pointer that says Ricochet on it.
I love it. I don't know if I love the match though. It was alright because like
It was there
our
to
main
be
event.
there. It was there.
I think it was
there.
just.
Yeah.
I think because what else would have been the main event? I honestly like. I don't know. Okay, so I don't really want to talk about the match too much because it was just okay. It was just a solid.
You know
match.
what? There was
pretty
no
good.
real like match of the night.
Unless you want to put like the handicap match in there, but yeah.
Yeah, the handicap match was like the only like real competitive, exciting match. Other ones were there for feuds or squash matches.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the 3-on-3 they took on the OC. OC ends up winning after AJ Styles hits an avalanche Styles clash, and then OC celebrates out of nowhere. Randy Orton comes out, hits an RKO on AJ Styles. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And and then Raw cuts off, and that's our show. And so yeah, this show was plagued by lack of story development, a combination of lack of story development and then lack of any type of memorable match. Like you said, the only match that was fun to watch, like through and through, was the handicap match, and even that struggles from psychology standpoint, having one person take on and hold their own for a very long time against your current tag champions, So
I have 3 more things I want to point out before we sign off here. Is one, TLC is next Sunday, and we haven't announced any single match. The only thing we've gotten close to making anything official for TLC is the official theme song. That's about it. That's bugging me. That is so close away, and no matches have been set
Is it a week from Sunday or this Sunday? This wasn't the go home show, was it?
No, it wasn't the go. Next week is the go home show.
Okay.
But it's a week from this Sunday. But still, that's still very close to home, and it's really messing up with our predictions episode because I think we're gonna skip TLC predictions because I don't think we're gonna have the match card set until like the Sunday of, just like we had for Hell in a Cell.
We'll salvage something. We'll get predictions in there.
We'll see.
I mean, we could just rip off those Cultaholic boys and do the whole 6 things that we don't think are going to happen is that we want to happen, because they do that a whole thing where they have like a little podcast of angles and moments they would like to see happen, but they don't necessarily think it's what will take place.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, it's just one thing that was bugging me is that I thought they were like 2 weeks off, but like they legit were just 1 week off. And one thing is like, what is going on with their tag team and women's division? We didn't get a single women's segment or match until that Kabuki Warriors handicap match. No other woman was highlighted. You're looking at the tag team, like really our tag champs are back jobbing. The other dominant tag team is out there just doing some cool stuff, which I like. Then you have the OC mixed it up with AJ. At this point, he's just
no clear direction on that faction.
They're just AJ's henchmen. There's no other tag team on Raw that I can think of that's established. And then I'm like, they're really missing.
They'll just throw some odd bedfellas together. That's what they'll do. Is they'll just create another Rudolph to go after Viking Raiders, and I'll be so pissed if they lose.
Yeah. And the final point. 2 weeks in a row, no Becky Lynch. Not even a segment, not even a video package.
I think she has a match next week. I think she has a title match next week.
But my question is why she's been off TV the last 2 weeks. What's going on?
Probably because like she's been so vocal. Like she surpassed so she's now currently the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion since the brand split in 2016, and she has been vocal saying that she's not pleased to be part of a tag division like what they're doing with her.
Wait, sorry, is that like in character or out of character?
It was out of character. I think she was being interviewed or on a show because it broke and made headlines when they announced. They were like, "Congratulations, Becky, you're now the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion," and she replies with like, "Yeah, and I'm in a tag match." She like threw shade at it, and
which is something that I like because a lot of people are giving flack to like Ronda Rousey, Alexa Bliss, and even Nikki Bella when they reached those plateaus of the longest reigning women's champion, and everybody's like, "Oh, they don't wrestle enough. Oh, they don't wrestle enough. They didn't defend the title enough." And if you really like, I love Becky Lynch, but if you look back on it, she won the title against Ronda Rousey. She defended it against Natalia, Lacey Evans.
She has taken on essentially
Who
all
else?
comers. She's taken on a lot. You know that
No,
she hasn't had a title match though in 2 months. That
yes,
was another
exactly.
thing.
The last
She hasn't
one
had
was
in-
the Sasha Banks title match. That was the last thing she's defended the title in.
It's been 2 months.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I know it's bugging her. If it's bugging me and it's bugging fans that she's not out there defending the title, I know it's bugging her, like, because she's a very competitive person. She wants to like be the man. That's where the whole thing came from.
Yeah.
And like right now, the women's division on Raw is just like, look, you have
Yeah.
two of your best wrestlers in Kairi Sane and Asuka in a tag team. You have another one in Naomi who's out. Ember Moon is out. Sasha Banks and Bayley, they're on Raw. Charlotte and Becky has been done to death. Natalia, really, we're gonna rehash that. There's nobody right now for Becky Lynch to face.
So the hot topic right now, December 3rd and December 2nd, 2019 is bring Ronda Rousey back to save. Like, that's the part that bugs me, to save the women's division. No, it should just be bring Ronda Rousey back. You don't need her to save the women's division. We can go into a long drawn out discussion like why it's so terrible to rely on one person to lead an entire division. No, you need a core. Like, you still need cornerstones. You need like 4 to 5 people that could interchange it. Yeah.
Because they've done it multiple times with Bayley as the cornerstone and building everybody up. Then Bayley got called up. They built the roster around Asuka. Now Shayna Baszler was the sole person there. And now you look at their women's division and they're like 10 people deep.
Yeah. You need a solid foundation that you can toss that belt around. And everybody seems credible. So, like I said, bring Ronda back, but not to save the women's division. Just bring her back to just add spotlight, man. I like Ronda as a wrestler. Man. I do like her as a wrestler.
I wouldn't want to bring her back because that's kind of feels like a band-aid on the situation, and you're not building someone up. I feel like if you bring in like
I don't mean.
No, I mean, like, don't bring her back in general right now because you need to slowly build up people, even if they lose to Becky. So, like, bring back a Nia if she's healthy. Bring back a Naomi if she's ready to go. Like, line up Asuka in the singles run while she's also doing the tag team run. Maybe, like, do, like, intermediate things. Like, I have nothing against Ronda coming back to wrestle, but I feel like this is just putting a Band-Aid on the whole lack of depth on the women's division on Raw right now, and it wouldn't really help.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say. But yeah, other than that, I can't really add too much about it. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, dude. We'll see. I definitely can't wait to see Wednesday, man. See what's going on there. Want to see AEW bounce back, and I still want to see NXT surge. And then SmackDown, I'll be live in attendance. SmackDown, you guys are gonna have a treat. Sebastian, taking lead for the first time since joining the show, will be hosting the SmackDown podcast. Make sure to show up and support Sebastian. But yeah, man, thank you guys for joining us once again on the show. Until next time, you guys have a good one.
Better.